Do you want to know what is better than a secret? A secret that you're not going to believe, because the information makes its way up to your brain and it just freaks out like, how on earth have I discovered this Pandora's box? And when you open it, you are filled with happiness and glee. And let's not pretend otherwise. Life is all about happiness and glee. It's just a shame that when you abbreviate that, it spells hag, but we take what we can get. And today, I, Simon, here at WhatCulture Wrestling, are going to let you in to this very special place. Because throughout the years, whether intentional or not, WWE has dotted these things here, there, and everywhere. So now it's time to reveal them to everybody who exists on this earth. Please also hit that subscribe button. It's looking at you, giving you a wink. And here are 5 WWE secrets you won't believe. Number 5, WWE's anti-CM Punk message. This stuff seems so weird to me, but hey, the internet was able to stumble across it and the internet did see it, so it's worth underlining and talking about it here. But during the Ultimate Legend documentary, which was focused on the one and only The Ultimate Warrior, the former WWE champion found himself in a WWE corporate office that just so happened to be decorated with WWE posters from pay-per-views as the years have gone by. One of these was the Royal Rumble 2014, but if you opened your eye and looked at it a little bit closer, you will have noticed that where CM Punk's face once was now a yellow post-it note, as if somebody had snuck in here and just stuck it right on his face. Now I can understand WWE having some kind of edict that they would rather not show CM Punk on the WWE network. I mean, when Punk did leave in 2014, well, the two didn't really see eye to eye, and they fell out. And sure, if you want to say, well, maybe it was just a rogue employee doing something that he thought was quite funny, all right, I will take you at your word for that one as well. But still, whatever the reason, nobody thought about the IWC and what they would do with all this, and of course it forced everybody to melt down. I think also we need to teach WWE about the Streisand effect. As soon as you took this post-it note that was really colourful and did indeed stick it on CM Punk's face, it drew more attention to it. If you had done nothing, nobody would have said a thing. And if they had, they would have been crazy. Of course, you're going to expect to see some pictures of CM Punk when you're watching things to do with WWE. He was there for years. Number 4, Kane's eye. Back to posters and the odd decisions sometimes WWE makes. For example, the Hell in a Cell 2013 poster features R-Truth. Now, I love R-Truth. I think he should go into the Hall of Fame. If you want to give me R-Truth on a 3-hour broadcast Raw from minute 1 to minute whatever the hell it would be, 180, I would enjoy it. But R-Truth never appeared at the Hell in a Cell 2013, so why was he on the promotional material? There's a bunch of these as well, including that doozy from Unforgiven 2001, when you had the 3 faces of Austin that were kind of merged and blurred together to get across to the audience that he was going through some kind of personality disorder or some kind of schizophrenic attack. Unfortunately, when you looked at it, it just looked like my first Photoshop job, although Metallica would copy that years later for their Hardwired album. So people don't go crazy. I just made that up. There's just a similarity between the two. And also, I just really like Metallica. Dun, dun, dun. A far more fitting one was when it comes to Judgment Day 2000, because you had a big picture of Kane's mask where you could see his eye, and if you really looked in close, you saw a symbol in said eye. And if you can believe it, it was the Undertaker's cross. The reason for this, of course, was because on this night, the Undertaker did return to the company as the American Badass. But I will always say this, I would like to see the original version of this poster, because no way are the powers that be going to give a spoiler away in the damn poster. That seems nuts. It also didn't make any sense why it would be in Kane's eye, despite the fact that the two were brothers. They didn't have any interactions on this show. Although I will say, if WWE did take this risk, and they did dare to do this, and I'm going to give them a round of applause. And given that I'm a massive geek and a massive nerd now, I'm going to get a magnifying glass, and every time I see a poster, I'm going to hunt for clues. I don't really think I'm embracing life in the right way. However, right here and right now, that is there for all to see. So you should go and see it, and then you'll know that I'm right. Number 3, the Big Show's name was a joke. Do you want to know what Paul White's original name when he first debuted in the WWE was going to be? And we did hear it a few times as a nickname. The Big Nasty Bastard. And let's face it, in the late 90s, Vince McMahon so would have done it, he didn't care. Apparently though, as the Monday Night Wars did rage on, McMahon thought it would be far funnier to take out his gun and take another shot across WCW's bow. And how does this tie in, I hear you ask? Well, let's take the name The Big Show and let's look at the first word of each of the name. T, B, and S. And if you don't know, TBS is a network in America that just so happens to belong to Ted Turner, who of course ran and operated World Championship Wrestling. It's also known as the Turner Broadcasting System, and why the hell we went to the lengths to do this, I don't know, because it just went over everybody's head. Who sat there and heard the Big Show and went, TBS, I understand the joke, and even if you did, it wasn't that funny. When Paul White did finally come into, all of it was just so bizarre. Do you remember when he walked to the ring and in a t-shirt on that said no gimmicks needed, which just insinuated that everybody else on the roster was relying on a gimmick, which at the time wasn't even the case. Also, if that was true and he believed this, why didn't he just come in and call himself Paul White? It's not like he would have been breaking new ground. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall had done this back in 1996. But no, he became the Big Show, which doesn't even make any sense as a name. Like now, we all think it sounds fine, but it doesn't. Here comes the Big Show. What the flub are you talking about? Number 2, Ric Flairs Red Flag. Is this just one big coincidence? Nobody knows. Well, no, that's not true. Ric Flair knows, obviously, but there does seem to be a connection with the Nature Boy wearing red trunks and then losing in big-time matches. Observe. Because at WrestleMania, Ric Flair went one-on-one with the Macho Man Randy Savage, where he lost the WWF title, and that's right, he was wearing red pants, and 3 years prior at the Chi-Town Rumble, he lost his NWA title to Ricky Steamboat, and if you want to look in the direction of his ass and groinal region, that's right, once again, he's wearing red pants. Now this goes out the window, given that he was wearing blue when he did retire for the first time at WrestleMania 24 when he took on Shawn Michaels, but there's more to this, because usually Ric Flair would wear blue when things were going the other way and he was about to have a big time win or claim a championship. So maybe this was his way of trying to tell the real hardcore fans that had noticed this that he was going to come out on top against the Heartbreak Kid, but then he screwed them over because he still lost, because obviously he was always going to lose. It's not like this was a massive spoiler either, because no one really picked up on this until long after the fact, and there's every chance that it may have been just a coincidence. It's not like Ric Flair has ever come out and said, hey man, woo, this is what I did. But look, knowing the Nature Boy, and I only see him from afar, but he really did put a lot of thought into this kind of thing. He was very meticulous, so deep down in my bones and my Rolex watch, I kind of think there may be something to it. So I am going to say that I've sussed him out. What a great detective I am. Going to spend the rest of my days looking at posters and staring at Ric Flair's, well, penis, really, but penis that's been covered up. I regret saying it. Number 1, Alexa Bliss signals the Fiend. Okay, look, I know that some people love everything that WWE has done when it comes to Alexa Bliss and the Fiend. I also know some people that think it absolutely sucks, but let's be nice to Alexa Bliss. She is putting her all into this and trying to embrace this new character, and it's little touches such as what we're about to talk about which proves it all up. Because when Bliss did decide to become a fire mage and just launched a fireball into Randy Orton's face, there was something very curious about her seeing device. Because as WhatCulture's own Phil Chambers noticed, she was actually wearing contact lenses that had an image of Bray Wyatt at TLC, and of course at that pay-per-view is where Randy Orton started these fire games, where he maybe literally burnt the Fiend to death. I mean, I haven't seen him since when I'm recording this video, but maybe he just burned away. Now this is an outstanding minor detail that I haven't heard anybody else talking about, which is a massive shame because 9 times out of 10 you do these Easter eggs, so they do get discussed, but once again it does prove the effort that is going into this. It would also likely move it to the next level, which is what it desperately needs right now. So it's just a chicken and egg scenario. Which one comes first? You can't have WWE get a megaphone and go, please look at Alexa Bliss's eyes. It would ruin the fun. It's also very creative, which is why personally I'm happy to see how this is going to play out. I would always rather every wrestling promotion under the sun tried something new as opposed to just go back to the status quo over and over and over again. Because when you do the status quo, you already know what you're gonna get. Let's face it, that gets a little bit boring. So hopefully now, if you are watching this around the time that Alexa Bliss, The Fiend and Randy Orton are still going at it, you can look out for these kind of things, and when you do notice, you feel like a proud pup, and your mum will be really proud of you, and therefore we have finally found a way for you to enjoy this program. I understand it's probably far more effort than you were expecting, but that's just how things roll. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know if you know about any WWE hidden secrets or if you know about any hidden WWE Easter eggs. And don't worry, we're going to do the same for AEW in around about a week's time. Then make sure you like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com where you can read articles like this and educate yourself. You can watch more videos here if you're more of a video guy on WhatCulture WWE, WhatCulture Wrestling, WhatCulture everywhere. And also, you can go on social media, you can type in WhatCulture, and you can give us a follow. I know that we would appreciate it. My name is Simon for WhatCulture. Thank you very much for joining me. My hidden secret is that when I go to bed, I'm one of those people that has to wear socks. If my feet are naked, I feel all kind of exposed. I clearly have something wrong with me, but I felt like this was a good time to share. No? Too late.